Hi everybody, my name is Heather Finley and I'm here today with my May wrap-up. May, I went to Australia and I actually finished a lot of reading while I was on vacation. I was lucky enough that my room had a speaker system in it, so I was able to listen to almost 3 different audiobooks while I was there. So yeah, let's dive into it. Also, I am now a 2-pet owner. I now have a new... Come here, kitty. He's gonna bite the crap out of me. I now have this new little baby that I named Darrow after the book series Red Rising. So you might see him and Timpy making appearances throughout the videos. We'll see. Come here, Timp. She's not a fan of him, but So if I make weird noises and stuff, it's because one of the cats is doing something. Who knows what. Alright. Oh, they're hissing. Let's dive into it. The first book I finished for the month was Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This book is obviously kind of a topical thing right now because the TV show came out on Hulu. I had never read this book and holy cow, is it messed up! It's the story of a futuristic, well, not even futuristic, just a dystopian society where church-ish stuff have kind of taken over, and there's roles of women that they kind of have to be the bearers of babies and just all this really messed up stuff. And yeah, this book creeped me out in the best possible way, and I watched at least I think I made it through 1 episode so far of the TV show, and it's just as good. So yeah, totally loved this book. Gave me nightmares. Crazy. The next one I finished was Melissa Explains It All by Melissa Joan Hart. I was a kid in the 90s that grew up on Clarissa Explains It All and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and even now I've watched Melissa and Joey, so I'm already a huge fan. Kind of on her social media, she kind of comes across as a little bit preachy sometimes, so I didn't know what to expect from the book. But the book is kind of her giving the lowdown on how crazy her life was. It was kind of before tabloids were a big thing, so she was able to be the party animal and do kind of crazy stuff without people knowing about it. So it was just interesting, and it was interesting to hear who she's dated and who she's been friends with, and I loved the story of her and her husband. And honestly, I just like her even more after listening to the book. It was fantastic. After that, I finished Dirty Rush by Taylor Bell. This is a story about a sorority rush, and it was okay. It started out like the author was trying way too hard to sound hip, and she was using a lot of phrases that you just don't say nowadays. They're just kind of rude, and so that part bothered me, but as the story got going a little more, it was a little better. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend this book, but it was alright. It was a very quick read. I think I read it in 2 or 3 days is all, so meh. After that, on my way to Australia, I listened to the audiobook of Mike and Dave Need a Wedding Date and 1,000 Cocktails. This book is hilarious. By Mike and Dave Stengel, I think was their name, and it was read by the authors. And yeah, I mean, the movie was very funny, and the movie is basically just one story from the book. If you've ever read a Tucker Max book, it's kind of similar to that, where these stories are basically boys being crazy and lots of sexual exploits and different stuff. I thought it was hysterical. I could see how some people might not be into that kind of thing, but I enjoyed it. After that, I finished Buffering by Hannah Hart from YouTube. Oh my gosh, this book gave me all the feels. I had no idea that her life had been that just crazy, how much she's gone through, how much personal strength she needs even on what's going on with her life now. So yeah, I absolutely loved every part of this book. Kudos to her for writing something so personal and putting it out there. And I can't even imagine, I don't deal with issues of depression or having to come out to my family or my family not getting along and that kind of stuff, or just what she deals with her parents, and kudos to her. She's had to have helped so many people by putting this book out. So highly, highly recommend. After that, I finished The Fireman by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is one of my favorite authors, and I don't know why I didn't read this one sooner. One of those, sometimes you know you're gonna like a book so much, so you just want to, dedicate time to it almost. So this is a story of, again, it's a a post-apocalyptic kind of setting where everybody has this thing called dragon scale that can cause you to spontaneously combust, and all these fires are busting out everywhere. And our main character, Harper, finds out kind of at the beginning of this that she is pregnant. So her goal is basically to get through this pregnancy. She thinks her kid will be okay. And I loved everything about this. If you enjoy stuff like The Walking Dead, I would kind of compare it to that, where yes, there's a post-apocalyptic story happening, but you're getting more of the interactions between the characters and how people are evolving in society and that kind of stuff. So absolutely, absolutely recommend this to everybody. It has a little bit of horror stuff, but more, whoa, kitties. He just ran into the mirror. Just more of a, I keep saying post-apocalyptic, but just more of a regular storytelling, not quite as scary as some of his other stuff. Highly, highly, highly recommend. After that, also on the plane back from Australia, I finished Tough Shit by Kevin Smith. And I am a huge fan of him already. I've seen so many of his podcasts and own nearly all his movies. I don't own Tusk or Yoga Hosers. But how can you not love Kevin Smith? I'm sorry, he's just hilarious and I enjoy to hear him talk. And some of the stories I had already heard before because I've seen a lot of the conversations with Kevin Smith's. But yeah, I just loved it. And it was a nice, easy listen on the plane home. Finished it literally as I was like walking to baggage claim. So, thumbs up. After that, I finished After You by Jojo Moyes. This is the follow-up novel to Me Before You, which was the movie that came out last year. I won't say too much on the plot, obviously, because I don't want to give away anything from the first one, but we still have the main character the same, and I don't know, there's stuff about this that I found a little slower and not as good as the second one, or as the first one, but there was other stuff that I really liked. Yeah, if you enjoyed the first one, I think you would enjoy this one too. So yeah, there we go. What was that? 8 books? And I almost finished 10. I've already finished one more and I almost have 2 other ones done for this month. So yeah, very good month. How did you guys do in May? What are you up to in June? And I will talk to you later. Bye. Is there a kitty in there? Daryl? You gonna come attack me? I bet is my other cat right out there? No, I don't know where she is.